To the Spider Queen, game number 1, the fighters against the Munchies, everybody. We are in the losers bracket of the Underdog Cup. Division 2 and Division 3 teams were invited to the event. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We are basically down to the last 4 or 5 teams currently, so mostly Division 2 teams that are currently represented here. And we had some pretty stellar games. This tournament has kind of blown me away a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Too many back and forths the entire time that I personally didn't expect. And we'll see how this one goes. Tomb is our first map, as we have the Munchies going up against the fighters. With a lot of familiar names, obviously. I already highlighted previously that a lot of the players that we have now in the Underdog Cup here, I mean, again, this is mostly Division 2 right now, so this is just under the semi-pro level. We will have a lot of the players also in the Nations Cup representing their countries, and it's kind of wild. I think at this point today, the sign-ups will close and for the Nations Cup, and we have 26 teams already signed up. I expected maybe 16 teams. So it's going to be epic. There's $10,000 of prize money on the line for the tournament. Starts on the 31st of January, and it's just crazy. So the Underdog Cup that we have here right now is essentially a little bit of a warm-up for the Heroes of the Storm community before we're going into the big one for the first half of the year, and it's going to be awesome. And the games that we had, of course, in this tournament, really entertaining. So many crazy comebacks, it's wild. And especially this loser bracket is a hard-fought one. So which team is going to advance to the next round? Which team is going to be eliminated from the tournament? We're going to find out. Game number 1, Munchies starting things off with Hogga as they have first pick. And then over on the blue team side, after now Jojo got banned and Falstad, we're getting Gul'dan, and we got Blaze. Essentially locking in a decent amount of wave clear already with Gul'dan. And then with Blaze you have that bot lane control that you obviously want on the map here. Falstad banned on Tomb. Typically, back in the day you would have usually looked at Falstad and be a little bit doubtful about that particular ban, because it's like a hero that normally just got chosen on bigger maps because of his global abilities. These days it's actually quite interesting with the heavy stack focus on level 1, because if you're going for frequent flyer and you're playing on Tomb of the Spider Queen, you're essentially guaranteed to at a minimum lock in the second reward fairly quickly, and sometimes even the pinnacle quest reward, because you can just bounce from one lane to another and get an enormous amount of minion stacks. So he gets banned essentially all the time. This case, banned by the Munchies, so even though they had first pick, they didn't want to pick him themselves. As we now get Muradin and Maiev. Kind of having a bit of an eye, obviously, on Stab Stab Kill. Plays a lot of Maiev, played Zeratul, played also tons of Valera, who so far hasn't been banned out, but might be a pick that we're going to see the red team going for later on. For the blue team, though, now after Medivh got banned, frontline will still be interesting, and we get ETC. So ETC Blaze is what they're gonna play first, with Malfurion as follow-up. Locking in that route. That's a decent amount of CC. And now we get Kel'Thas and Anduin. So, lots of CC for the red team as well, with the Gravity Labs now being used here. And that brings us to the final pick for game number 1. Tomb of the Spider Queen, again, is the map. The fighters against the Munchies. And it's going to be Etrax who locks in another damage dealer for the blue team. So, let's see what we're going to get. Who is going to be victorious and takes the lead in this best of 3 series? We're going to find out on Tomb of the Spider Queen. As the fighters lock in their final pick, they go for Hanzo. The fighters in blue starting over on the left side. Akudist coming in with Gul'dan and Echoed Corruption on level 1. Etrax on Hanzo, we got Aldanto and Malfurion for the blue team. Hajjunio on ETC, and Shikish is playing Blaze in game number 1 of the series. Over on the right side, it is the Munchies. We got them in red with Brahms on Muradin, Meikaku on Anduin, Mia on Kel'Thas, Stab Stab Kill on Maiev, and then Griffiths with Hogga. So, let the games begin. Which team is going to take the victory on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Who's going to be able to get those gems turned in and grab some spiders? We got on level 1 the even-handed blessings. So already, right there, that's an even-handing blessing from Anduin. And on level 1, the Journeyman cooking for Hogga, who's obviously going to be sitting at the bot lane a lot against Blaze, at least at the beginning of the game. Bit of aggression over here in the middle. Candy King Murden. I think at this point we can just call that the Epstein skin, right? I mean, you want to have some candy? I think at this point this is just absolutely justified. So, yeah, the Epstein skin being used over here by Murden. And then in the meantime, we're having Hanzo just floating around at the top lane a bit. He's going to be providing vision later on, and also some interrupt attempts, of course, when the opponent is attempting to turn in. When it comes to Gul'dan, we get now also the Pinnacle reward. Rarely hit. Gives you a bit more sustain in pretty much everything on lane. Not necessarily increasing the DPS of the hero, but again, keeps him on lane a little bit longer, which is always quite nice, especially, of course, during big, long fights. All the while at the top, yeah, that follow-up from Khaldor. And that's going to be the big one. Burn, baby, burn. Khaldor is going to be coming in with one gravity lapse after another and attempts to spread the love with those living bombs a bit. For now, we have just some easy gems claimed by both teams, and really nice timing also on the defense camp from the Munchies. Just when they needed to collide with the opponent. Still some structural damage done, but this is going to work out in their favor, and they will be able to counter push a bit. Blaze now down at the bottom of the map, and up here they burn another minion wave down and can now escort their own camp in to try and get some structural damage done. Another gravity lapse, nice, connecting with ETC. They needed a Stormbolt or some kind of follow-up there, and they could have maybe threatened the main tank of the blue team. Level 4 talents now kicking in on both sides. And we could slowly see the first few gems turned in. One of the primary points, obviously, at the bottom of the map, usually the solo laners that accumulate a decent amount. If you can turn in with them, then you find yourself in a decent spot. Hogger now rotating between the lanes as the 4-man is just dropping in at the top. Maiev, obviously, with one tether after another attempted into a gravity lapse from Khaldor, and then the Malfurion Stormbolts. There's a lot of CC really ranging from one hero to the next on the side of the Munchies that they could allow them to get a massive chain going. Yeah, Khaldor with a bit of damage, but ETC also blocking the path a bit and creating some space for the ranged damage dealer. Keeping Itrax safe here, who immediately turns it around and tries to threaten Maiev a little bit. So, yeah, Maiev eats a bit of the damage as well. The AoE from Khaldor is really helping them. I mean, it's the two mages that do most of the AoE damage. And for Arcunis, it's also quite nice that he has so many little brawls where he can continue stacking his level 1. Sitting at 29 already, so halfway done with what you want for your first quest reward. So yeah, you get the perfect synergy with your Ruinous Affliction. That will be taken on 16. Down at the bottom of the map, still the 1v1 with both of them on roughly 20 gems now. Both teams with enough to get a full turn in, if they can deliver. Nobody has died yet so far, and we are, 4 minutes into the game. Hanzo still jumping around here. ETC trying to set the team up. But at the same time, they turn on Malfurion, and he's the one that falls first. Malfurion taken out. Nicely done by the Munchies. They take down the healer on the side of the fighters. Grab an early level 7. Not a big gap, but it allows them to go for the turn-in, and they are delivering quite a few of their gems. 25 already turned in fairly easily. Khaldor, by the way, with a burnt flesh currently. So not fully going into a living bomb build or anything of the sorts. Griffiths has to be a bit careful with 24 gems. They definitely need to ensure that he doesn't die. So yeah, he's still fine. But then in the middle, ETC looking for another opportunity as the blue team, of course, wants to return the favor and get a kill themselves. Oh, if that jet propulsion here hits, then it's a different story. Again, losing a side lane in a situation like this is always a problem because of how many gems they're holding. Gul'dan on 30 stacks already. That is pretty darn good. 30 stacks for Gul'dan is honestly great for him. So he has only 10 missing until he gets his first reward. And once that we're seeing that, obviously, he will increase his damage output even further. He might actually make it at this pace to the 85 that he needs for the Pinnacle reward. It might actually get to that point. Hush Jr. trying to turn in, and just before he's able to deliver the 31 gems that he's holding, the red team completes the turn in, and they're going for another kill. But Gul'dan, I mean, he makes it. Gul'dan is still alive, gets a bit of a heal, and needs to be careful here, but still he can stay on lane, so that's pretty important considering that they have an objective coming up. On the other hand, though, we have a quick pause here. I'm not sure if anybody dropped. It doesn't really look like somebody dropped out of the game. But, yeah, the red team with a pause. Tactical pause confirmed. Clear 3-2-3 moment as the web weavers are coming down. So a bit of a strategic discussion that is currently happening. But, yeah, we'll see how the first objective works out for the boys in red. Seems like we had a couple of mouse problems for the Munchies. Yeah. Maybe that wireless mouse running out of battery or something of the sorts. Got a cable in every now and then. Here come the web weavers. So, no, and that's the moment of truth right there. Also, Khaldor is nearly done with his quest on level 1. Nearly completing that. Defense so far is doing pretty okay over here. First web weaver is already taken out in the middle. They can rotate towards the top and deal with the situation there. Shiki, she has to be very careful with the 28 gems that he's holding. But he's doing a decent job. Loses the wall. That's kind of inevitable. As long as he can maintain control of the fort, it's going to be fine. But the problem is that he's dropping low. If there's a kill against Blaze at the bot lane, that would be a disaster. So far, he's still doing okay, but that's also level 10. And we get, again, Pyroblast! This Underdog Cup has been the Pyroblast tournament. Lots of Pyro picks that we got so far. And this game is no exception. We have Mia with Pyroblast on level 10. As now the blue team also gets their own heroic abilities. Horrify, obviously. And we get the Mosh Pit too. So they're going for more and more control tools with all of it. But, yeah, the attacks still gonna keep coming over here. I mean, right now, for example, we're having 1 kill, 2-0 only. Still the attempt at a turn-in for the blue team. And, well, right now, they haven't turned in a single gem yet. They have 96 gems. They essentially have a double turn-in. Not quite, but nearly. So now the question is just if they can finally deliver and get themselves some web weavers, or if they eventually are going to lose out on those. Nice save. Anduin saving the day, as even the Mosh Pit was used. Stormbolt to interrupt Blaze. In comes Hogger doing the same. They're still getting some turn-ins, and amongst them Hashdunyo with a 35 that he was holding. So now the tank a bit more freed up to try and make some plays. But yeah, 1 kill, 2-0 right now is all that we have. 8 minutes into the game. So not a kill-heavy game by any means, but everybody just looking for opportunities to pull ahead by taking structures down. And the fighters, can they take a fort out? That's to be seen here. Gul'dan might be able to complete his quest now. Sitting at 38 is strong. Really strong at the 8-minute mark. But the defense is currently going quite well. In the middle of the map, they have to escort the web weavers in a bit deeper before they hit the wall. Down at the bottom of the map, it's a 2 versus 3. And Hanzo gets away from the light bomb. Griffiths essentially saved him with Hogger, pushed him out of the light bomb radius, and therefore Hanzo was able to get out of the fight and survive. That could have been a kill for the red team. The Munchies could have gotten a kill here. Instead, they're losing a few walls and some hit points on the mid lane fort. But to be honest with you, that was not really the most impressive objective. So both teams doing well on defense. And both teams with enough gems for another turn-in. Munchies actually have quite a few more gems. They have a gem advantage right now. Gotta deliver them first. But still. Blaze was trying to turn in at the bottom. Ran straight into Hogger, who's attempting to do the same thing. The 4 versus 4 at the top lane. Still playing this out. And they're going to go for Brahms. Stab, kill also. Low here. They have level 13 talents already. That lead in experience might be small. But it comes at a really good moment in time for the Munchies. But big damage again from Gul'dan. 55 stacks for that madman already. Arrow into the back. Horrify. They could go for Maiev. And there it is. The slide, the stun, the kill. Okay, there's the pyro, but that was a very optimistic ult by Khaldor. Akunis, no problem surviving through it. Couple of gems now lost to the Munchies. and the chance to turn in for the fighters. 58 stacks for Gul'dan. Yeah, and he's getting more here. So he is very, very likely going to complete his quest reward. Muradin gets bullied a little bit. They tried the route against Anduin. Muradin, he's gonna make it. Or is he? Whoa! Close call, my friend, but he gets out. Hanzo jumps away. Doesn't spread the bombs here, so they're still fine. But it's a tense game regardless. I mean, it's a kill for a kill right now. Here comes the light bomb again, and instantly ETC just pushing Muradin back and saving the day for the team. But the red team is taking over control of the turning point again, and is attempting to at least deliver the gems of Kel'Thas, which has worked. So 29 to 18 turned in right now. And at the bottom of the map, these two are still doing their thing. With 48 gems now in the hands of Hogger. 48. Gul'dan at 67 stacks already. Another tether. But Hogger is now part of the party. And Blaze is just turning in. Blaze ignores all of this, just turns in and gets the second Web Weaver wave for the fighters. Gul'dan now at 45,000 damage. Hanzo at 46,000. The red team is, generally speaking, much, much lower in their damage output, but of course they are still able to threaten a lot of kills throughout this, especially with the amount of CC that they're running in all of these tether plays that we've now seen from Maiev as well. You kind of need to try and take a fort out now. And Gul'dan is in a good spot for it too. He has the first quest reward, which is, I would argue, the more important one as we speak. It's a couple of additional hits in against Muradin, who's a very popular target. 70 stacks already for him. Down at the bottom of the map, seems like this fort is not going to make it. Hogger is not able to save this. 54 gems also means that he needs to be super careful. He can't be too aggressive. If Hogger dies and they can't recover the gems, then they are in a huge amount of trouble. Light bomb! Horde pulled! They want Gul'dan, he got the Horrify out already, and instead it's Maiev that gets attacked and murdered. Maiev gets killed. They flanked in from essentially every angle to take her down. Good ult also from Malfurion, keeping everybody in play, and that allows them to be a bit more aggressive in the middle. Down at the bottom of the map, we already have the Web Weaver knocking on the keep wall, but the blue team is now slightly at inexperience. And they have the Ruinous Affliction for Gul'dan, which is, of course, making this just so much better. And Gul'dan, again, he's at 81 stacks. He needs 4 more, and he has all that sustain, so he's going to get a ton out of this. It's going to be real nice for him. Amazing stacking progress from Arkunis. We're only 13 minutes in, and he's already about to complete the Pinnacle reward here, so great for him. Now, in the meantime, we're also having Ignite. We're getting Glyph of Fate. Obviously, now level 16 talents on both sides. And again, we are in a spot where everybody has a turn-in opportunity. And the blue team delivers again. They're delivering another turn-in. Pinnacle reward now unlocked for Gul'dan. So he gets a sustain right now. So big heals coming in for him, which is going to help him a lot. And they're going to get at a minimum another fort here. That fort is getting destroyed before the Web Weavers even appear. Still close, though. And let's not forget, as long as the red team doesn't lose heroes and gems, they can still get multiple turn-ins in a row as well and try to capitalize on them big time. So, right now, also another thing that I should probably highlight is the 43 stacks on level 1 for Kel'Thas' Mana Addict that we have. That's pretty powerful as well. So, Blaze down, pushing at the bottom of the map. Up here, they want another fort. And might be getting something. Yeah, the disc is out. Not a lot of progress done with that particular wave. They still got some damage at the bottom of the map, and even the keep is going to take a few hit points. But with Blaze now moving in, 64 gems for Hogger. It's ridiculous. Blaze now moving in, they get a bit more. Maiev killed at the top, and there's the mosh pit, baby! But Anduin with another pull. Great play still by Hanzo, setting the kill up for the team that allows them to take another fort out. So, all 3 forts now eliminated on the side of the blue team. And they're going for the boss immediately. Maiev is down for another 30 seconds, so they feel that they can make this happen easily. And honestly, I think they're right here. The question is just simply whether or not the red team can get a turn-in. And so far it doesn't look like it. Hogger would have to deliver. And he's not going anywhere. They still have the vision of him down at the bottom of the map. 64,000 damage from Hanzo, 64,000 also from Gul'dan. Boss taking the top, can soften up the wall a little bit. We're now 15 minutes in, so they're defending here with everything that they have. But the job for the blue team from here on out is going to be to control the turn-in points in the middle. That's going to be the big one. Control the turn-in points as best as you can. Don't allow your opponent to make a move there. And then we'll see what else they can do. Top side, that's where the boss at least opens the wall up for them. And they are already on their way, the blue team, to move at the bot lane for some added damage on the keep. I mean, just simply Gul'dan going for a hit or two is already helping them. That's a solid amount of damage done with essentially no effort. As long as they're not forced into a fight that they don't want to fight, they're going to be fine here. So, yeah, Gul'dan able to do lots of damage on that keep. That thing is softened up for any push that they could set up later. Hogga is now at 75 gems. Here comes the light bomb engage. Horrify already used. Isolating Muradin there for a little bit. Arrow from the top, straight onto Anduin. And Hogga all alone right now. Needs to be mega careful and spins into the wrong direction. If they can get a kill here, if Hogga can get murdered by them, it's going to be disastrous for the red team. But they are able to get him out. Jet propulsion and more damage from Gul'dan, who, as already mentioned before, has of course now all of that self-sustain as well, which is just amazing for big team fights like this one. The blue team is getting dangerously close to another turn-in. 108 gems now in the hands of their opponents, with 52 already turned in. They only need to deliver another 3. And most of the gems that are being held by the Munchies are under the control of Hogga. He's going for the triple digits here. Somebody wants to unlock the secret mount. Griffiths is looking for it. Secret mount, the old meme. If anybody ever annoys you in a pubby game and says you need to turn in your gems while you're winning the game for them, just tell them that you want to have the secret mount. It unlocks at 100 gems and they will just start collecting gems from there on out, never bother you again. Pulled it off right at the beginning. Back then they had the mecha spider that you could get. I think it was for a Facebook login or something. So it was actually an easy way to make that lie believable. You just showed your mecha spider off and you just said like, yeah, that's a secret mount. It's Tomb of the Spider Queen, you know? You need to hold 100 gems and you're gonna get the mecha spider. And people believed you, and then they were begging for you to not end the game too quickly because they were not 100 gems yet. It was always hilarious as hell. But yeah, that's how you got some of the flamers to just simply be quiet and do their thing. And, well, I guess Griffiths is getting close to it. 84, 60 needed, and he goes for the secret mount. Oh yeah, baby. Keep at the bottom of the map now gone. Mid lane open up. And only 4 kills in the entire game, by the way. Both teams now on level 20 talents. Haunt is going to be big, and there's another turn-in for the blue team. It's actually kind of crazy that the Munchies weren't able to turn in again. 1 turn-in is all that they got here. And now the question if they can somehow save their keeps. And honestly, that's a big question mark right there. Because here comes Hogga. That might have been a mistake, my friend. Hogga pulled into the back line. Mosh pit. And the ult from Hanzo. As they're going straight for Hogga. Trying to drop him quickly. Not able to get that quite done yet. But more and more damage now coming through. Muradin has to pop Avatar, jumps out, another jet propulsion this time on Hogga, and he eats tons of damage from Gul'dan, who's absolutely merciless in his output now. 82,000 for Hanzo as he drops Kel'Thas, 80,000 for Gul'dan, and I think at this point they finally broke. 4 kills to 1. The blue team on their way to victory in game number 1. They want the lead here in the series, and it just seems that the Munchies can't deny it any longer. It's too much. It's too much damage. Gul'dan with mad amount of siege damage too, and this is victory right here for the fighters. They take the lead in the best of 3 series in the losers bracket of the Underdog Cup. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. Infernal Shrines, let's go! Map number 2, the Fighters, ladies and gentlemen. We got Falstad banned out quickly. the 10 heroes that were played on the previous one. They can obviously not be played again, so there's a little bit of a restriction coming in as we are heading into our second map, where obviously the fighters could now close out the series and move on to the next round of the tournament, to the next round of the losers bracket, where they would face off against the Packers, I believe. Chromie banned, Diablo banned, and Jojo as a first pick for the Munchies. Very nice control over the Shrine, obviously. You get the extra AoE as well. Whereas on the blue team side, we're getting some aggression with Nubrug now diving in deep. Rega as the potential follow-up. And then obviously over on the right side, we get Mikako and Stukov and Dehaka. Yeah, Dehaka, always nice on Inferno. I mean, again, basically Dehaka on any map that you play is usually giving you a lot of tools to work with. On Infernal Shrines, it's really nice because you have that extra AoE for every single objective that you're playing out with it. But yeah. We got, in the meantime, the final few bans coming in. Dehaka Tong into a Stukov Lurking Arm would be kind of neat. Then you have also the Blessed Shield that I would still expect we're going to get here. They're banning out a few of the mages. In this case, they're getting rid of Fia first, and then Sylvanas gets taken out too. No damage just yet from the fighters. I mean, if you go in with the Nubarak, you could technically always go for a Grey main pick if you really wanted to. Mages to follow up on this would be Mephisto, for example, would be a decent one. I'm a bit curious what especially Stab Kill is going to take. He's the one that plays Valera for the team a lot. Not necessarily on Infernal Shrines. I think most of the time when they played on Dragonshire, he went for the hero. But for the blue team, we're getting Leo, and we get Vala. So, with Vala, it immediately poses the question what kind of build we're going to get. Technically, on Infernal Shrines, all three builds are viable. Especially when we're talking about the amateur scene here. Now, if they decide to go for an auto attack build, different ways how you could play that too. There's Valera. They actually go for Valera, even on Infernal Shrines. So, Valera play, most likely going to be teed up by some of the heroes at the front line, Jojo and Dehaka. But typically, they're coordinating the attacks really well around Valera. That's one of the strengths of the Munchies, and now the fighters have to prove that they can go up against that. Is Valera going to be able to make the difference for them? Can they win map number 2? I mean, we're about to find out, I suppose. For the blue team, this is going to influence the last pick maybe a bit as well. They have currently one squishy with Vala. More protection or more damage? They go for more protection. We get an auto attack Vala with a double support behind her, and even the panic button with Uther, as he's likely going to be the one to drop the Divine Shield. Now, Infernal Shrines, map number 2, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. We got the Munchies going up against the fighters here in the losers bracket of the Underdog Cup. Game number 2, Infernal Shrines, the map, and Arkunis on Vala, as expected, with the auto attack build. Creed of the Hunter on level 1, as we see Itrax on Nubarak. We got Aldante on Rega, Hajdunio on Uther, typically the main tank for them, now on the second support, and then Shikish on Leoric. So really, really putting all of their eggs in one basket with a Vala auto attack build. Quite typical, actually, if you're trying to go for the hyper carry variation. Over on the right side, we got Mikako on Stukov, Brahms on Johanna. Griffiths is playing Dehaka for the red team. We got Stab Kill on Valera. So more of a description than an actual name. And then we get Mia on Junkrat. So, let's get this show on the road and have a look at how well Arkunis is able to play this out, how many stacks we're going to get on the auto attacks, and if they can keep him alive throughout all of this. Already, Junkrat trying to cause a little bit of chaos. Unsuccessful thus far. Rega's just eating that up with ease, and they're pressuring through the mid lane as the red team is obviously also going to try to limit the opportunities for Vala just a tiny little bit. But down at the bottom of the map, we now have Vala in position. We still have also 3 stacks only thus far. There's a blind on the other side with Jojo that he could utilize as well. Johanna already saying hello here. But there's a stun, and that's a couple of easy stacks for Vala. Not too many because, as mentioned, Johanna immediately responds with that blind. And that was a great isolation of Uther. Job well done. That is kill number 1. The Munchies taking the lead in the kill count. Great job by Junkrat. Nicely done here. allows for the red team to take a second camp. At least that's what we would expect now. Them moving down to the bottom of the map and take this one fairly easily. Blue team not even trying. 10 stacks for Vala right now. The thing always is you want to, of course, stack your level 1 as best as you can, but one of the biggest advantages of going for Creed of the Hunter is, of course, the auto attack speed bonus that you get to the Gambit. So as long as you stay alive, you're going to get mad damage anyways with Manticore at level 16. So typically it is more important to stay alive than to stack your level 1 aggressively. That's going to stack over time anyways, and a lot of these fights are going to favor that. On the other hand, of course, we got Valeera. She's going to be the one to likely try and follow up on stuns from the frontliners. And you can do a lot there. If you get the full combo off, you silence an opponent, you help to lock them down further, then you can definitely do a lot with this. Camp is taken, and Jojo is in a little bit of trouble. That's added stacks for Vala. She's at 22 now. It's not insane, but again, every single bit that you can put in right now obviously matters and is going to help later on in the game. And Akunis is so far doing pretty okay here. Has been playing an amazing game with Gul'dan, by the way, on the first map. That was a stellar performance. But over here, this is of course slightly different. He's going to be one of the main targets for the red team for sure. First objective is now popping up. Vala at 30 stacks, so hasn't really unlocked any additional damage yet. Could do so though in the next fight at the top lane. By now we're having also the bed of barbs for Anubarak. On level 1 we got the Legion of Beetles and the red team with the initial lead on the objective. The blue team actually not really doing a whole lot around this. There's a slight gap in experience as well between the two teams, but now still the attempt to make a move here. So already checking with arrows just a bit of what exactly is going on. There's a 15 stack lead for the Munchies on the Punisher. Vala just getting bounced around the entire time, but they are working those stacks in, and they're actually doing okay. Quick stun against the Haka. Here comes, on the other hand, the Condemn from Jojo. Valeera gets attacked, and, well, eats lots and lots of damage as the Haka is starting to refocus onto the objective for the Munchies. Vala, though, has been doing well. They get an early level 7 talent, too, so that helps her, of course, as well with Hot Pursuit, which she now gets. And they can work a little bit more damage in against the Haka, get those attacks going. Valeera with another attempt, this time onto the front line, trying to drop Anubarak with the help of the team. Vala very, very close to get her first quest reward now as well, and keeps the pressure on Valeera time and time again. The red team is a bit ahead on the objective still, but the blue team is fighting back as best as they can. The Punisher is eventually taken by the Munchies though. The first quest reward unlocked for Vala then again. So, hasn't died yet, and gets a bit more auto attack damage. The jump straight in front of the wall. Obviously, 2-3 patches ago, the maps got changed. A lot of the maps got changed a little bit, and that also included Infernal Shrines. Punishers can't be baited over walls any longer. Increases usually the damage that you can do here. Oh, and there it is. The second kill on Uther. Still ghosting around a bit and doing his thing. But that's kill number 2 for the Munchies, both against Uther. The defense still solid, didn't lose too much on the fort. And obviously their scaling into the late game is still something to be a bit concerned about if you are the red team. And Anubarak is able to dive out, and Vala is able to get more attacks connected. So yeah, she's sitting at 73 now. Akunis is doing okay here. Good stacking, not dying yet. The double support is helping. They lost the objective. They're still slightly ahead in experience, which is nice. Leo has been ghosting between the bot and the mid lane. And now even more hits for Vala. Again, she's working it. If you get 2-3 rewards and then 16, you're great. And then of course on 20 you get the Farflight Quiver, which is going to help you even further to just stay away from the opponent and securely stack and not die. Maintain the Gambit stacks. It's all about the Gambit of Creed of the Hunter over here. That attack speed bonus is huge, especially if your team can set you up with some stuns. And Anubarak though gets targeted over and over again, and he's one of the squishier tanks of course, so Valeera is continuously targeting him as best as possible. Vala by now at 84 stacks, still a couple of arrows connected, and Akunis is still doing alright here. Akunis is still doing very, very well on this. Hit after hit is coming. He's sitting at 88. They're about to take over the camp at the bottom of the map, even with the grenades that are being forced in by Junkrat. But Vala with the second quest reward, that would give her 2% more damage. And every single little bit it counts, of course. We got level 10 abilities by now, which gives us the Cloak of Shadows for Valera. And in the case of a Nubarak, the Locust Swarm. Haven't seen that in a hot minute. Really interesting. So Itrax apparently worried about dying a little bit and not playing it out with a Cocoon. Locust Swarm is crazy. I mean, I haven't seen that in years. So that is a nasty talent to take, and we'll see how that works out for them. There's the Ancestral instantly on Arkunis. The drag into the Lurking Arm, and the kill! Vala dead, 5% of the attack speed bonus now gone, and they follow it up with the second kill on Ulta. Well done. That's 2 heroes down. The Munchies, they're putting in the work in. 4 kills in total, and taking Vala out removes 5% of her attack speed bonus. That in and of itself is not really too crazy yet. That's still fine. But this obviously is a big step forward also for the Munchies. Get a few more kills in, and you're going to be solid here. Not a single kill yet for the fighters. The one difference obviously is that yes, you gain a little bit more map control when you're getting those kills, but despite the fact that the blue team hasn't locked in a single kill yet, they're not behind in experience. That's a problem for the Munchies. It actually is. If you look at the experience distribution here, minion experience is heavily in the hand of the fighters. This is where they're making up for this. They don't need the kills right now. It would be great for them to avoid them. It would be great for them to also get a few themselves. But as long as they're not falling too far behind and Vala can still make it into the late game and continue stacking, they're still going to be okay here potentially. But then Anubara gets targeted, and you can't lose heroes for too long in this game. Eventually, you gotta pay the piper. So that's the problem. And on the objective, they're losing Leoric. So Leorki is down, and that's kill number 5 for the Munchies. As death timers increase, this is becoming more and more of a problem. Vala is going to go do good damage on all of this. But they need to win objectives eventually. And talking about the damage, Vala is at 26,000. Valera, 23,000. Hasn't died yet and has contributed a lot in those fights. There's a bit of damage done at the top lane wall, at least through the blue team, because they were able to get their Shaman camp earlier. Nice damage also on Dehaka. Really thinks he can get that kill too. I don't think he can, but he's definitely going to force Dehaka back and make this a lot harder for him. Another drain instantly connecting. Essence already fully used, and Griffiths has to be very careful. But there's also the push in the middle, and this is where the red team is now pulling ahead. And Ubarak diving in. Vala with a few more connects and attacks. Yeah, they haven't lost the fort yet. Vala continues stacking, went for Tempered by Discipline. And Leo did tons of damage here. There's another minion wave that came in, and he was able to trigger the Inspire buff. Has to move away now, but still, this was big. Considering the damage they took in the middle, this was huge for the blue team. Weren't quite able to even it out, but that was still very, very nice. Now, still not a single kill for the fighters, but still working Vala and getting towards the later stage of the game. 20, as I said before, is going to be an important one for them. Now, camp after camp taken. More pressure at the bottom of the map. Ah, they tried to go for Jojo again. But it's also something where Vala in particular has to be very careful of Junkrat. He's been doing really well to cover retreats and also to try and lure her in a little bit deeper. Most of the time Arkunis was able to dodge that, but this is still a big threat. And Jojo is of course working her blind here, trying to limit the amount of stacks that Vala can get on level 1. But, yeah, it's a bit of an experience advantage for the blue team now too. And the blue team keeps pushing. They're taking structures down, and they have nearly eliminated the top 4. Leoric is going to get that eventually. I mean, it's such a problem for Dehaka that Valera is now coming in and helps with the kill. And they surprise him completely here. Down in the middle of the map though. Yeah, Stukov. Nearly caught, but is able to make it. Now Valera is saying hello again. This is essentially a 5 versus 4. So they got to be very careful here. And there's the drag again. Anubra gets saved, and they're all able to retreat. Leo doesn't even have to appear. 15 versus 15. 6 kills to 0. Ah, this could be number 7. Anubra, and he gets out. Despite the double support, 6 heroes have died here. So, yep, Ancestral and Divine Shield used during all of this, but they're still in a bit of trouble. Now, Manticore is soon going to be ready. At 16, Vala is going to unlock the big synergy. She died only once, so she still has a 20% attack speed bonus, which is really nice. Valeria's gone into Strangle, trying to strangle Anubra here. Cockroaches, last time that I checked, have no real neck, so good luck with that. But they're going in for Johanna. Yeah, and Vala with 158 stacks now. So only 2 more shots away from getting her 3rd quest reward. And another Entombment solo play against Leoric at the top. Now we have Manticore. And this is where Vala's damage is very likely going to start exploding a bit. She's already at 39,000, the top damage dealer in the game. But this is going to accelerate things. Next objective up. So far, the Munchies have won every single Punisher. Fighters haven't taken a single one. Now we got 16. Vala's gonna get to her 3rd quest reward here. For sure, no doubt. Has it already. Has to move out. And they're trying to turn it on Valera immediately. But good damage already. Vala again is now getting way more damage connected with Manticore. All of that attack speed bonus. And then of course the single target damage. And Junkrat is one of the few that instantly felt that. So the red team, they have to come in here and try and take this. But already we're seeing a small lead being established for the fighters. They want their first Punisher. Yeah, they want the Arcane Punisher. Valera about to move in from the side. The Haka looking for that tongue over and over again. And Ubrak is a bit low. Leo has to move back out too. But they are on 27 stacks right now. They're hitting the 30 in just a moment. Could try and move back to get quickly to the fountain. Valera might be in trouble. Comes back in again. Leo still totally fine thanks to the drain that he's popping against Stukov. And now the blue team in a much better position all of a sudden. Vala keeps stacking, keeps dishing out the damage. The red team is attempting to take over on the objective itself. But here comes the stun combo against the Hakan. They're forcing him back as Leoric moves in for another swing and gets the team closer to the Punisher. Arcane Punisher for the fighter. Still without a kill. Still without a single kill. But Vala, she's now at 45,000 damage. Not top damage dealer in the game any longer. Junkrat has taken over that position, but the top keep is... the top fort is now gone. And they are, of course, hoping for more here. They want at a minimum the wall. Have to be careful of Junkrat. Yeah, not a problem here. That wall is gonna fall, and how much damage can they do on the keep itself? That's the question. Still without a kill, but they're pulling ahead. They have Leo at the bottom of the map, and he can do some extra damage there too. They're not risking too much. And Leoric now able to trigger the Inspire buff fairly easily. Takes out the minions, I suppose, and the rest of the blue team has moved towards the middle of the map in an attempt to push for the fort there as well. Haven't been able to take the entire thing down, but still get some damage in. Valera again with the attack, going for Nubarak over and over again. Keep in mind, he made the adjustment with his level 10. Went for the Locust Swarm. The Haka coming in right here. Vala dashing out. Blessed Shield has already been taken, and Nubarak is gone. Kill number 7 for the Munchies. Leo wasn't here. Leo was not with them the entire time and somehow moved away before taking the fort. I don't really get why, but it is what it is. Vala, Divine Shield, and also Ancestral used for her at 183 stacks now. Leorki moving down to the map once more, this time trying to take the fort out for good, I'd say. But the red team also already reciprocated in the middle. 7 kills to 0. 4 destroyed, 2 down on the red team side, 1 eliminated on the side of the fighters. At level 20, Vala is going to get a range increase, making her even harder to approach. So right now we have 56,000 damage for Vala. And we got 59,000 for Junkrat. Leo with a swing down here. Full Sudoku move. Shikish with absolutely a Sudoku move at the bottom of the map. just moved in and instantly committed honorable Subaru. So, they're trying for the stun here again. Vala. Still the Iron Skin in play for Jojo. She is fine. Leo's Entomb would go a long way here. But look at that damage. Yep. Once again, nice damage against Junkrat and forcing him back. The Haka isn't here. They have to be a bit careful since he could always move in. Try and force that fight. The red team, thanks to the Haka sitting at the side lane, has now taken the lead in experience. Not a massive one, but again, it's there. Has to be respected. Vala now closer and closer to the next quest reward, which would give her a bit more damage on the auto attacks. 8 shots short. Easy to grab once that they have level 20. And there's already Storm Talents on the red team side. It's kind of crazy that they still haven't gotten a single kill. Valera went into elusiveness. And the fort at the bottom of the map doesn't stand a chance. Leo lets it go, and he should. There's nothing they can do here. What the blue team needs is the next minion wave and just prep for the next objective. I mean, they won one shrine. Shrine number 4 is now coming up, and that's of course going to be a big one. But now we also have the Entomb upgrade, which is going to be potentially big. Uther gone into the Divine Protection right there. And we got the Trader King for Anubarak. All about survivability at the front for him. Vala, as already expected, with a range increase. And then on top of that, we have the Ancestral Wrath for Rhaegar. Or, sorry, the Farseer's Blessing, the upgrade here for the Ancestral Healing. Frozen Punisher would also be pretty big. The Haka, not there yet. Yeah, quick stop. There's the Haka. They could still... They keep Vala alive. Big attacks coming. The Haka also gets the ult out. And that's a nice contagion that they got there. Riptire's coming out. Red team has taken over, but is still falling short on the shrines a little bit. And Anubarak is moving in deep. They're forcing them out. Grenades everywhere. And there's the Ancestral from Rhaegar. Big Entomb from him. Big Entomb from Leoric. But not able to get a kill yet. They're forcing at least Valera back and take full control over the shrine once more. Force the red team to retreat. And this is going to be another Frozen Punisher. Still not a single kill for the fighters. That hasn't changed. We're now 18, 19 minutes into the game. And they don't have a single kill. Not one. But they won the second objective in a row. And Vala is at 211 stacks now. Scaling, scaling, scaling into that late game. With Anubarak going full survival build. There's another jump. And Anubarak, now that he has Trader King 2, is doing well on this. Much easier to keep Itrax alive. And it shows. It really does. And Vala's damage, again, is out of this world right now. 71,000. Not top damage in the game, but she's getting close. She's getting really close on this. So this time they're still baiting. Vala with attack after attack. The Tong missing from the Haka. And Vala still brings the big damage here. Dodging as much as she can. And starting to also get Jojo low. Isolates herself a little bit. Still has her blessed shield. And nearly dies. Oh my god. There comes another Rain of Vengeance. Anubarak alive. And this is all happening in the 4 versus 5, by the way. Leo isn't here. This is all a 4 versus 5. Which honestly I think they are pushing a little bit too far. Whoa, that tongue! And the immediate totem from Rhaegar as a counter. So yes, they are applying the pressure. And Leo is now saying hello. If he can land a cheeky Entomb, like this one for example, this could be a kill. They're trying to go for... Yeah, they're trying to go for Jojo. The Haka in the back. Vala reacts immediately. Akunis with a great game. He got another quest reward during that fight, by the way. He's closing in on completing his level 1 quest. Valera gets attacked again. Gets pushed back. And that siege that we're seeing from the fighters is just too much for the Munchies to handle. The keep is gone. And they're looking even for kills on this one. Blue team can slowly retreat, and it's absolutely nasty what they're doing. And all of this still without a single kill in the game, which is crazy. 94,000 damage now for Vala, as Junkrat has already crossed over into the 6-digit club, sitting at 100,000 damage. They need to kill Vala. They need to somehow try and take her down, but it's tricky. Akunis is playing a great game. The supports are doing their best to keep him alive. And he's playing this perfectly. Knows exactly how deep to go, knows exactly when to dodge. The adjustments that were made by Itrex here are working for them as well. Him going into Trader King on level 20 and previously heading into Locust Swarm is working for them right now. They're taking additional camps. And the next objective is going to push through the middle. So, right here now, the red team need a kill. Valera is looking for the kill. The entire time she's looking for opportunities. She looks for any chance to go to Vala. The Haka has been so eager to get that lick connected and couldn't make it work yet. But all that they need is one big kill on Vala and maybe some follow-ups. And they can snowball this a bit too. Let's not forget that the blue team also doesn't have a fort anymore. Here comes the Entomb. Nice. Forcing the fight. Vala again dodging everything that Junkrat throws against her. Ui, ui, ui. Well, maybe not the grenades, but at least the other tools. And the objective is now coming up. No fort standing anymore except for the red one here in the middle. And that's of course a problem because it means that there's a fountain still in play for the Munchies at the next objective. That's a clear advantage for them. Oh, stab, stab, and no kill. But they got close. Itrex misses the stun though. Really nice move by Valera. Dangerous one as well. But they're falling back for now. Which gives the blue team a chance of a lead on the objective. So they're pulling ahead here. The Haka had to defend the core. Yeah, Valera again coming in from behind. And so does the Haka. Instantly eats the shots. Nice. Good job. Here comes the Reptile. Vala still in play. 28 stacks on the objective against 7. And they're pushing them back. The red team's approach was not successful. They looked for the opportunity and they couldn't find it. Once again, the two supports, Aldante and Hashdunyo, keeping Vala alive and Arkunis just giving no opportunities to the Munchies. Quest is nearly completed. 6% additional damage is what they're looking for. Only 3 more hits needed. There's the drag, and Uberok, and he's alive. He makes it. Didn't have to use an Ancestral, didn't have to use a Divine Shield. And the wall is gone. Quest completed for Vala, 24 minutes in, and she has max damage right now. Max damage. There's the Entomb again. The stuns, and another Rain of Vengeance, but this time Uberok is gone. This time Uberok is gone. They want more kills, and they go for Leo. They can't quite drop him. There's still a Divine Shield in play, but the keep is destroyed. That's the second keep that gets destroyed here. 2 keeps eliminated, 9 kills to 0. Still not a single kill for the fighters. They're being chased hard here. Sacrificing Leoric would be absolutely worth it. By the way, the Punisher is on the core. They're taking damage here. They wanted to go for the chase. They eliminated an Uberok and they just simply said, guys, we gotta do something. There's catapults coming in too, and the next minion wave is not spawning in time. So the core is now down to less than 50%. They wanted additional kills. They were chasing them hard, looking for follow-ups, and they couldn't do enough. They sacrificed a ton of their points on the core because they thought they had an opportunity. And I'm not even sure if you can blame them. If they chase and they kill Vala and one of the supports, all of a sudden they're breaking through the middle, they take a keep down, and they might even go towards the core. But right now, of course, they lost way too much. 27% on the core is a disaster. This is game 2. If the Munchies win this, they move on. And, sorry, if the Munchies win this, we get game 3. If the fighters win this, the Munchies are out of the tournament. Divine Protection obviously also helping a lot. 50 extra armor is massive. They try and steal the camp away. And Uberok, yeah, they sniff him out. But it seems like the Shamans are gonna be taken. Or are they? They want to make the move. They do. Rain of Vengeance. And they let it slide. They let it slide for now. Leo, is he gonna drop an Entomb on them? Yeah, no real opportunity. It was a nice cheeky play by the fighters. And they nearly got it. 1 second was all that was missing there. Yeah, with that we're having still them slowly retreating here. One big mistake is all that it needs for the Munchies to bring this one back. And they know it. Vala, she died once. She died once. Choke point play. There comes the Entomb. They're playing it out on the choke point with another Ancestral from Rhaegar. Big heals, but they're forcing the Munchies back. Ooh, boy. We're 26 minutes into this game, guys. Catapults do hurt. Catapults dominate those lanes right now. They absolutely do. Once again, the invade attempt. Valera and the Divine Shield on Vala. Divine Shield on Vala. There's the Blessed Shield. The hit. Uther is gone. Uther is gone. And Leoric likely gonna fall as well. There's the double kill. Uther, he does not have redemption. This might be the opportunity they were waiting for. The Munchies. They get the 2 kills. And now they might have the shot at a keep or even more. 40 seconds for Leon, for Uther. They're not even trying to defend it. They're trying to defend the core. And Nubarak is pushing into the middle. It's a backdoor, baby. They're trying to defend here as the rest of the team is backdooring as best as they can. And Nubarak is diving in. They know that they're on a timer right now. He's trying to escort those catapults in. It might be too little too late. Their core is getting attacked, and the Munchies are making it happen. They get 1 team fight victory, and they take it. They force game number 3. GG. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Gun of Terror, everybody! So, game number 3, we're going the distance. 20 heroes have been played and are unavailable now. But, yeah, it was quite the second map. The Munchies, they could have lost the game without the fighters ever getting a kill. But late game kills matter a lot. Once that you get late game kills, you're in a great spot because the death timers are so high. And there were a couple of choke point fights where, honestly, I wasn't really sure if this is the best way for the fighters to take the battles. Because they need space. They need space for Vala in particular to move away from stuns, and when they clump up and then a Blessed Shield comes out as it did and you have follow-ups from Junkrat with the Riptire, that just causes problems. So letting those camps go might have been the smarter way for the fighters to play. Obviously, hindsight is also always 2020. The blue team did an amazing job getting to that point in the first place, but they were so close of winning this one. I mean, again, all that was needed was 25% of the opponent's core and you got it in the back. But, yeah. The Munchies just a little bit too strong and eventually able to turn it, take a fight, get 2 kills, and then snowball it towards the core. Obviously, it helped a lot that the fight happened right in front of that keep. That definitely didn't hurt their ambitions in any way, shape, or form. Now we're getting Tyrael in game number 3 as the first pick. Still these main tank bans that we've seen now a couple of times, with Diablo and Garrosh both eliminated. And then on top of that, we get Falstad and Chromie. So those are our... Oh, Oriel? Oriel and Zul? Is that a Cho'Gall ban? Zul for wave clear, Oriel for revive. Are we seeing a Cho'Gall ban right now? Just better safe than sorry? Is that what we're getting? That would be kind of funny. We get Yrel over on the Munchie side. I don't really think that we're going to get Cho'Gall. I would love Cho'Gall. But I don't think that's going to happen here. But I could totally see them try to bait out a Cho'Gall ban. And Greymin is already taken, so they're basically just saying like, hey, we dare you. Go for it. Oriel needs a good battery. I mean, she needs somebody to generate the hope. We've seen a couple of other auto attackers that you could definitely go for. I mean, one example would of course always be Suljin, which has been... played and banned in other series already. But right now, first ban, Ana gets eliminated, okay. So, no Sleepy Sleepy. Unless they want to drop Mal'Ganis into the mix. But what exactly are the Munchies now eliminating? Are they banning Cho'Gall? Are they going to get baited into the ban? They're also looking at this and like, we don't really think they're going to take him, but what if they do? You know, what if they actually pull it off? So should we just ban him out just to be safe? And I guess the answer is yes. They banned Cho. Okay, so Cho'Gall is out. Fighters are the only ones that can really answer if it was a bait or not. But they go Mal'Ganis and they go Cassia. So they go for a bit of a sleep move here. With, on the other side, the final 2 picks coming in. Tyrael Yrel, already working for them. Could go triple frontline too. We still need a healer for them though. And then we still have Itrax as the final one to pick for the fighters. Second damage dealer, highly likely. It could be a melee, but still, they need a bit more damage output. Oh, LILI! Oh boy. Okay, LILI as your support in game number 3, guys. What are you thinking? There's too many good supports around still to drop a LILI into the mix. Are they running out of healers they can play and they just go for the Q button panda? Or what's happening here? Jaina, I guess after Judgment? With potential Ring and Blizzard? But what? I did not see LILI coming. And now we have Sergeant Hammer for the fighters. Ladies and gentlemen, Garden of Terror. This is gonna get wild. We got the Munchies going up against the fighters. Let's see which team stays in the tournament and moves on to the next round. Game number 3. So here we are. This is the moment of truth and some spicy choices on the side of the red team. But first of all, on the left side, in blue, we got Itrax on Sergeant Hammer. Hajduño is playing Mal'Ganis. We're getting Shiki on Zul, Akunis on Cassia, and Al Dante on Oriel. Over on the right side of the map, Mila on Jaina. We got Brahms on Tyrael. Griffiths on Yrel. Mikaku on LILI. Ready for adventure! With the Serpent sidekick, and then stab, stab, kill on Greymane. So, let's get this party started. I mean, I'm certainly interested to see how this is going to go for them right now. The LILI pick just totally threw me. I mean, it absolutely threw me. That was kind of crazy. And right now, we're getting Ardent Restoration, the Lingering Chill. But, yeah, Yrel is already down at the bottom of the map, and Zul is now moving towards the top. And time will tell. Is LILI going to be successful or not? The Sergeant is in too, second time today that we're getting the hammer time. Charge strikes in as well. And obviously, by now we have a focus on the camps where Greymane also excels a little bit. And Zul, yeah, mistakes were made. He did not expect there to be 4. So that's first blood. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment where we all of a sudden have the Munchies with a bit of an advantage, since they not only get the kill, but they also have Greymane with a mercenary camp at the top lane wall, and they can take this thing out with ease. That's mad amount of early game damage that they're getting here, just by them putting all of the resources, most of the resources, onto the top lane. And just look at this. We're 1.5 minutes in, and they are probably not destroying the fort, but they're dropping it massively low. They might actually be able to get the entire thing. That's insane. That's utterly insane. Yeah, they're getting the fort 1 minute and 40 seconds in. If they lose somebody on the way back out, that's totally worth it. But that's crazy. That's a free fort right there. Accelerating the entire process. That's bonkers. Huge advantage for the Munchies right now. They take a camp, Zul plays a bit too aggressive, pays the price, and then they are in front of the wall with Greymane and can take the entire thing down. Absolutely bananas. That was insane. So, that's going to be an interesting one, because right now, when we're looking towards the blue team, they have some catching up to do. And yeah, we got down at the bottom of the map the cooldown rotation kicking in for the red team as they're trying to take their mercenary camp, going for the siege giants first. Then on top of that, top lane already. Well, stab stab kill is the one that is defending there. Down to the bottom of the map, some counter damage now from Sergeant Hammer. And this is obviously the nasty thing if you have the Sergeant. If you have some nice tools where you can keep the opponent just out of range, or at least not in a position where they can close on Sergeant Hammer, then you're going to get value there as well. So that's exactly what they're trying to do here as we speak. It's a 4-man defense as the 5-man is pushing, which leaves, by the way, Greymane all alone at the top lane. Zul obviously is wandering off eventually, but that at least gave them most of the wall here. So yeah, they got a big part of that. Now, with that said and done, level 7 is going to change the dynamic a bit once that Sergeant Hammer gets the mobility that they're looking for. Quick jump onto Urel. But here comes the flank, and Mal'Ganis has none of it and just puts him to sleep. Easy hits. With sound effects too. So, we got, well, the Ice Flurs, and we got the Frost Shards. It's a little bit of a weird game, honestly. That 4th drop at the top changed a lot. And now it's only 1 kill. They nearly got a 2nd one against Zul. But Tyrael is also getting a bit low, and despite the fact that there's a structure eliminated, I wouldn't really count the blue team out just yet. Sergeant Hammer can be very difficult to engage upon, and obviously we're expecting judgment from Tyrael, but I still don't know if they have enough, and I highly am skeptical of the LILI pick. LILI is just a hero that in the late game I do not see do well for them. They could still take this, but there should be some interrupts against the Panda. There's a first seed obviously taken, the Munchies were able to pull ahead there. And yeah, the fighters will likely try for this one, since they now have also the mobility on Sergeant Hammer. Tyrael is going to try occasionally to jump in, I guess. But yeah, it's time to fight for seed number 2 in the game. Experience gains through the structure destroyed is nearly 1,000 already. So the blue team is making up for it with minion experience. But that passive experience increase is very, very nice for them. So yeah, Greymane gets attacked here. Itrax at the front, still totally fine. Generating tons of hope, of course, as well for Oriel. And they are getting that seed with ease. Once that they take position and are able to set Sergeant Hammer up, there's just no pushing it anymore for the Munchies. So, well, we are ready for some potential Garden Terror action later on. Next seed will likely spawn on the left side, so it should be an easy one for the blue team. And I guess after that we're going to fight for the potential first set of Garden Terrors here. Zul still ready down at the bottom of the map against Urel. Top side attack against Mal'Ganis. Slowed, and Tajdunyo goes down. Kill number 2. Munchies with the 2nd kill and level 10. Half a level lead, and there it is. Judgment as expected. The Ring of Frost, called it earlier in the draft. You get Judgment in, you get the Ring of Frost, and then you just unleash everything that you have. And LILI is obviously going for the jug of 1,000 cups right now. Jug it up a little bit. Over on the right side. Yeah. Greymane, again, making his plays. With level 10 now also in the hands of the blue team. We're getting the Dark Conversion. Ball Lightning. And we're getting the Crystal Aegis, which is going to save Sergeant Hammer. Or whoever they're engaging upon with Judgment. I mean, it doesn't really have to be Sergeant Hammer. There's a couple of targets that he could definitely aim for. This one, going to be an easy one as already predicted. Nobody's even contesting it. It's far over to the left team side. So, yep, they're taking this. Or at least they're trying to, and I'm wrong. And they're actually making a move for it. Yeah, so they're trying to take this one right here. Not able to make them pay just yet. Are they able to claim this after all? I don't really think so. There comes the play against Urel. And there's Judgment. Aegis instantly used. Cassia is safe. Ring of Frost with a nice connect, but Jaina is the one that dies, and she's not the only one that's low. There could be a lot more victims in that fight. The chase is on. They're dropping Urel, and the rest of the team is on the run, but they are able to escape at least. The seed still goes over to the blue team, as they now have 2 kills to 2, and they pull even farther ahead here. So they're looking good. More camps to be taken, but that first encounter, that first attempt by the Munchies to go for the big battle did not work well for them. Next seed is going to spawn up here, so favoring the red team at least a little bit. As down at the bottom of the map, Sergeant Hammer is setting up again, this time trying to apply pressure to the fort itself. So, yeah, off we go. Not really a lot of whip plays, by the way, from Oriel. But again, Tyrael trying to be aggressive, and Sergeant Hammer just getting hit after hit after hit in here. Leading, of course, in the damage department. Huge margin too. Way ahead here. Not quite yet tripling the damage output of Jaina, but hey, maybe something to come later on in the game. Now, with 2 seeds to 1, there's obviously a chance for the fighters now to get the first set of Garden Terrors. Itrax can try and control the space here. Azul is already slowly moving in. It's all about judgment and the Jaina follow-up. But they're getting damage in on Yrel. No ult for her just yet. Cooldown still at 20 seconds. And Jaina is a bit low and has to retreat and tap the fountain, which allows the blue team to take position around the seat, threatening it and forcing Tyrael to respond. Everybody else still down here at the bottom of the map. Tyrael doing the best that he can to slow them down, but they have to push in and eventually there's going to be more and more damage. Itrax, not a problem for him. Judgment, and Aegis instantly being used again. Auriel absolutely on point, time and time again. LILI with the heals now coming out, but the red team is again falling low. She just can't keep up with the damage. Jaina is gone. Yrel is eliminated. They get the double kill over here. And this is Garden Terrors now pushing. And they're already on the fort in the middle. But yeah, it was just too much for them to handle. Once that they got the kill on Jaina, the entire fight fell apart. Now we have Garden Terrors pushing in on all of the lanes. The blue team taking down the fort in the middle of the map with ease. And they're looking great here. Tyrael trying to intimidate Sergeant Hammer a little bit, and it's just not working. They want this wall too. They have vision already as they are taking the side lane down. Greyman is defending down at the bottom of the map, but for example, top side, Zul is alone with the Garden Terror. So this is going to cost them another fort at a minimum. Maybe more. The attack over here in the mid lane continues, and the keep will likely not fall, but it's going to take a little bit of damage, not a ton. But it can get just a small amount in. Opening the wall up was already a win in and of itself. And as called at the top side, the fort has been destroyed. The fight, on the other hand, is still coming in. There's the BFG. Greymane tries to look for a kill here. Ball Lightning with lots of damage. The ring not connecting, and it's Greymane that finds himself in trouble a second later. But he's not the only one. Cassia falls, but I'm not so sure that the red team gets away without losing some heroes themselves. Tyrael gets murdered. Zul came in with his own ult. They're isolating the bot lane now a little bit too. Especially with the Siege Giants now taken, so this could actually apply more damage to the bottom fort. Topside wall has been destroyed, mostly as well. And the lead in experience is obviously not something that the Munchies are going to be too happy about. The lead for the blue team, of course. Level 16 talents. Any moment now. And yep, they want that bottom fort as well, and they are about to grab it. Jaina completes at least her baseline quest, so that means that we're now having access to Frost, Ice Block for her. But Sergeant Hammer, yeah, she has the martial law now ready, and more damage right here. So, with that many slows and stuns, that's a big tool to have. The one good thing for the red team is they're not too far behind. This can obviously change, especially considering that now we have, with all of the forts destroyed, a massive advantage in passive experience. And we can take a little bit of a look here. Right now, it's still with 1,600 extra XP, the Munchies that are ahead on passive experience. But the catch-up is going to happen eventually, because all 3 forts have been destroyed. There's camps also on the lanes too that have to be dealt with. So, yeah, that gap is not going to be maintained for all that much longer. And there's already a 1-level lead between the teams. Zul, he is isolated. And he is gone. That was a really nice move by the Munchies. Perfect timing on this. Saw an opportunity, and the blue team was technically close, but they just couldn't get over the debris there. So, yeah, that was a nice kill. Very early ult, by the way, here from LILI. That certainly doesn't help them. They jump on Sergeant Hammer. 4 versus 5 though. But it's kind of working for the blue team. Lots of damage done here. And especially then Mal'Ganis at the end coming through with the conversion. Threatening Greymane a bit too. So they bought more time for the camp at the bottom of the map, and this is costing them more hit points on that keep wall. Ural is now dealing with it, but still, that's a lot of damage done here for free. Seed now spawning down at the bottom of the map, and Zulu's going to be back for it. So he can start those fights as well. Yeah, it's a little bit dicey. I mean, so far the red team has only gotten a single seed. You're looking at the damage output, and Sergeant Hammer sitting at 64,000. More than doubling what Jaina brings to the table, for example. The interrupt attempt comes too late, so that's now the 4th seed for the fighters. And the red team is just, I mean, they're having a tough time getting a foothold here. This is game 3. We are in the loser's bracket. This is for all the marbles here. You win right now, you move on. You lose, you're out of the tournament. And at this point at least, the fighters are ahead. Maybe not massively, but they are ahead. By half a level, they've taken the structures out. Passive experience, again. You can already tell that this gap is closing super quickly. With that fort, the topside fort of the blue team was destroyed 1.5 minutes into the game. Ever since then, we had a huge increase in passive experience for the Munchies. That gap has nearly been closed now, because of all the forts that got destroyed by the fighters. So, this difference in experience between the two teams is widening. And Zul gets caught again and killed again. Zul is currently the blue team, the red team's punching ball. And it gives another opportunity to the red team to try and take that seed. Mal'Ganis is trying to interrupt. And yeah, he can't slow them down enough. And now Astunio is, wow, popping a big ult, forcing the heal from LILI again. And it's another 4 versus 5, but they're doing some work here. They maintain this a bit longer. Jaina gets attacked and nearly murdered. As long as Astunio is able to get out. But this is a 4 versus 5 again. It's actually insane to me. It's blowing my mind here. This is the second time that we're seeing a 4 versus 5 and the red team has to get away. Zul isn't even needed. The seed is taken. They are just able to get too much damage connected. Not even ball lightning had to be used here. 5 kills to 5, and it's more and more of a problem for the Munchies that they are just incapable of winning any of these team fights, even when they have a numbers advantage. The next seed is going to spawn over on the right side, but even if the blue team gives it up, it's just going to be 2 seeds on each side. 33 stacks for Tyrael, 14 for Greymane. But now we have level 20 any moment, and they are going to have level 20 in time for the fight on the next seed. And a second set of Garden Terrors, boah, that would cost them a keep at a minimum. Very likely more than that. Ultra Capacitors are going to be ready for Sergeant Hammer once that they get to 20, which is going to be happening any second. The red team knows that they can't do anything about it, so they're at a minimum. They're trying to get Siege Giants. They're trying to get some additional mercenary camps. But they're not even trying here. They know it's not happening. Ultra Capacitors are in, alone in the dark now. We get Titan's Revenge, and they're pushing for the bottom keep, and they're going to get this. This is going to be stopped by the Garden Terror, I suppose. I don't think that the top keep is going to take any significant damage here. But this attack, this is the big problem. Middle of the map is being defended right now by the 2 damage dealers. But down here, this keep doesn't stand a chance. And they might actually try and snowball this towards the core. As long as they have a level 20 talent advantage, why wouldn't they? Either go for the second keep or go for the core. Those are your options, but you want to get something out of this. So yeah, keep it is from the looks of it. They go for Ural. Down here, Garden Terror's moving in. Ural pops her ult. Has to burn the big cooldown. And LILI does the same. They get the big cooldowns out and the core is losing hit points. Ladies and gentlemen, the fighters are about to make it happen here. They're so close. 40% on the core. The red team dies. LILI dies. Everybody's dead. Greymane is the only survivor for now, but the core doesn't make it, and this is the last stand. The Munchies, they get eliminated from the tournament as the fighters move on to the next round of the losers bracket. GG.